1980s, Foster Yeoman were looking round for wagons to replace the old BR wagons they were using. In 1983, a 10-year contract was signed with Procore to hire a fleet of 64 ex-British Steel bogie ore wagons. These dedicated wagons were able to run at high mileages and provide a much better availability than the old wagons they replaced. In fact, their availability was up to about 95%. They were classified PTA and originally painted white, but soon repainted into grey. The Foster Yeoman branding was carried in large white letters on a blue background on the sides of the wagons. At the same time, Foster Yeoman were very concerned about the motive power provided by BR. Class 56 locos were the preferred option at the time, but their availability was very poor, sometimes as low as 30%. Foster Yeoman suggested that a privately owned and dedicated loco fleet would be the answer, with a required availability, just like the wagons, of over 95%. Crucial to getting an agreement from British Rail to run privately owned locos was a 15-year contract for an annual movement of 4.5 million tonnes of aggregate by rail. British locomotive manufacturers were asked to tender, but little interest was shown given the required availability of 95%. Foster Yeoman had already purchased a General Motors EMD SW1001 shunter, which had proved its reliability, so approached them to build and supply a mainline locomotive. A version of their successful SD40 loco, scaled down to fit the British loading gauge, was proposed. 4 locos were built in Chicago, Illinois, and they arrived in the UK in January 1986. BR designated them Class 59, and they were numbered, unsurprisingly, 59001 to 59004. The original distinctive livery of silver and blue was as shown here, and this lasted until 1994, when a simplified colour scheme was introduced. Increased business led to a 5th and identical loco being ordered, which arrived on these shores in June 1989. In the first full year of Class 59 operations, the Foster Yeoman locos averaged some 68,000 miles and hauled about 750,000 tonnes of aggregates. The design spec was for a 95% availability, but they beat this handsomely, returning over 99%. In 1990, ARC Southern ordered 4 Class 59s, which were delivered in the same year. Apparently, LaGrange and Chicago were not making locos at this time, so these 4 were produced in Canada, in Ontario. They were identical to the earlier Foster Yeoman locos except for 2 things. They had a revised arrangement of lights on the front to a newer British standard, and the suspension was fitted with something called yaw dampers, which meant the locos could travel at up to 75 miles per hour rather than the 60 miles per hour of the earlier Foster Yeoman locos. They were therefore classified as 59-1 and were numbered 59101 to 59104. Initially the livery was mustard and grey as shown here, but like the Foster Yeoman Class 59s, this too was soon changed. The ARC PTA wagons were painted in a mustard colour, which I think was a deeper shade than that of the locos. Large grey ARC letters adorned the wagon sides. In 1993, the joining together of Foster Yeoman's and ARC's operations was finalised, and a new trading title, Mendip Rail, was launched. Its prime purpose is to transport aggregates for its two parent companies in the most economical way. The locos were still owned by each company, as were the wagons, but as they are all very similar, they are fully interchangeable. The model locos are by Lima, and like all my stock are modified and weathered. In my view, the Class 59s are some of their most accurate models and capture the look of the prototypes very well. A bag of additional parts, which includes handrails, brake pipes, side pipework and front skirts, is included with each loco. They are long locos which look a little strange on my radius 1 curves, but they're impressive beasts nonetheless. Lima diesels all perform well and are quite capable of a realistic crawl speed if you use a decent controller. I know a lot of serious modelers look down their noses at them, but I love them. The PTA wagons are by Lima, and a little judicious weathering helps their appearance no end. Removable loads using ballast from Atwood aggregates completes the look. The Class 59s have had long and illustrious careers, nearly 40 years so far, which is almost as long as the white Ford trainset van in the mill yard. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed these ramblings about two of my favourite diesels, but that's all for now, so see you next time.